It's Drink with James, episode, I'm not going to say it because it's an unlucky number, and I'm a cyclist, and cycling, that number is a no-go. If that's your race number, you put it upside down. Cruise ships don't have a floor. A lot of hotels don't as well. So I'm not going to say what episode number it is, but it is Drink with James, episode number. I'm alone again. No JC, no Rich, just me, a glass of whiskey, and no air conditioning. That's why I'm not in a suit, because it is 88 degrees in our office currently. Our AC is broken. We're sweating it out for you guys. I'm still drinking whiskey. And if you don't think that's a feat, I fucking dare any of you to walk outside in 88 degree weather and drink a damn whiskey at 4 in the afternoon. I doubt you could. I continue to ask you to ask questions. Tim's writing these questions on the board every week. You guys sending them in really helps. But the more questions, the more we get to choose from, the more we can keep doing this. In general though, maybe for this week, just letting us know what you'd like to see more of. Are there themes? Do you want to do the shows as like, this week we're going to talk about money, this week we're going to talk about growing your Instagram? Or do you like the way we're jumping around? Do you want me to talk to brand people? Do you like when I had JC on, do you want me to bring bloggers on more? Like, what would be helpful for you? Yes, I'm using this to try and grow my own Instagram following and to try and get some modicum of fame for myself, but really I'm here for you. We want you to be better. We want to help you understand how to do this better, so let us know what we can do to make the show better. I think if you're going to pursue Snapchat and Instagram stories, I don't think that's a bad idea, but make sure you have a different purpose for each platform. So maybe Instagram stories could be something you post to once or twice a day. Maybe you just do your outfit every day. That's all you do. Maybe you only post about it when you're trying to add some clarity or some context to something that you posted about on Instagram. But what I wouldn't do again is just to pursue both. Now, I like Instagram stories more than I thought I would, and I think if you haven't moved your following over, if you have a strong following on Instagram and you haven't moved it to Snapchat, there might be some value in just pursuing Instagram stories instead of trying to push people over. But understand that you run the risk of what happened to me with Tumblr, where I didn't move my audience over to an emerging platform at the time, Instagram, fast enough, and then Tumblr fell out of fashion. Nobody was logging in. I couldn't move my followers over to Instagram, and I was stuck kind of in purgatory, in like social purgatory. So that's two different answers to the same question. Takeaways, if you are going to pursue it, try and have a unique reason to do that. Here's another thing. Maybe you could use Instagram stories for sponsored and Snapchat for not. A lot of people like to keep their Snapchat like holy, and they don't want to do sponsored content inside there. Totally makes sense. But maybe you can start offering to the brands that you work with sponsored play inside your Instagram story so that your Snapchat story can stay really pure and funny and raunchy and whatever it is, and your Instagram story can be a little bit more commercial and focused on your blog. How's that? I love pitching questions. So yeah, what can you do to provide a unique value that maybe everyone isn't doing? That's a good question. There's this fine line between your crazy creative idea and what the brand actually wants to do and what would be valuable. I have pitched many things for myself personally and also for 4Card to brands that I thought were awesome ideas. One was getting a bunch of 80s supercars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, things like that, and doing a menswear suited shoot with them, which I thought sounded like a great idea, but it didn't fit with like the aesthetic and what the brands was going after that we were talking to. So even though it was a good idea, it didn't fit into their plan. So that's the key, is bringing something innovative and unique and personal at the same time helping the brand. One example could be, that Tory Burch just launched Tory Burch Sport, right? So you are, let's say, going on a yoga retreat and you reach out to them and say, hey, I'm going to this amazing yoga retreat in Thailand for 2 weeks. I'd love to get a bunch of your clothes and do a couple posts on it. That adds value. You're already going to this place. You know you're going to get amazing photos and amazing content. It fits into what they're working on, which is trying to push this new sport line. So that totally makes sense. But reaching out to a brand with a crazy idea that doesn't fit in that way won't help them as much. So make sure that you're trying to understand what would actually be helpful and offering them things. I think if you're going on vacations, if you're already going on trips, if you have something planned already that you can integrate a brand into, I would encourage starting there. So an example of one that worked, the Tory Burch Sport one was theoretical. One that worked for me was, I used to work with this suiting brand as a photographer, Jay Lindenberg, and they were coming out with a ski line. I was already going skiing with my family, so I reached out and said, hey, could you give us a bunch of ski kit and I'll take photos of it and give it to you. They gave us like $10,000 worth of ski clothes. I outfitted my whole family, took photos, and produced this whole shoot for them, which I can probably have Tim link somewhere in here. So for them it was really easy. They just had to give some product, they gave me a little bit of money. I was already going on the shoot, I already had the models, everything was already kind of taken care of, and it just very plug and play for them. Here's the thing, if you need money to do the project and they don't have money, then you shouldn't do it. If the opportunity is really cool and they don't have money, and you think down the line they may have money, or you don't care just because the opportunity is great, then you should do it. And I'm a couple whiskeys in, so I'm not sure if I just said the same thing. But basically, if you look at the project, I think actually this is something that JC said in last week's video, which was basically you gotta have a price that makes you happy. And if you look at a project that a brand wants you to do and you say, I don't really want to do that, or I don't love those clothes, or whatever it might be, I'm busy, that sounds like a lot of work, but if they gave me $2,000, I would be happy to do that. Then you should ask for $2,000, and if they say $1,000, you shouldn't say, well, $1,000 is better than nothing, I'm just going to do it, because when you actually come to doing it, you'll be super unhappy. I once shot a campaign for a video game, like a gladiator kind of video game, and I took less money than I wanted, and I was miserable the whole day, and the work wasn't good because I wasn't happy, and I should have never done it. So make sure that you have your price that's going to make you happy, and you stick to that. And sometimes that price can be zero. I've worked for free for a lot of brands. A lot of our influencers work with brands on a regular basis for no money because they don't need money to work with that specific brand. That's totally okay, but just make sure you have that happy price in mind. Look, in a negotiation, your biggest trump card is the ability to walk away. And if you're fine walking away, then you don't sound desperate. You say, well, look, I need $500 to do this, and if you have that, that's great. If not, I have to pass, and I hope that we get to work together in the future. Don't come off as rude. There are legitimately times when brands just don't have the budget. And you can look at the brand and say, but you're this huge brand, I know you make millions or billions of dollars a year, how do you not have the budget? It's because these things get sliced up 12, 18 months in advance, and there sometimes is legitimately nothing that person can do, and there is no more money. So don't hold it against the brand if they say they have no money. You have the ability to walk away. So if it's not worth it, then just walk away. And you won't sound desperate, and certainly don't be rude, and say, you don't have to make a big point about it and say I deserve money, this is work, and I wouldn't ask you to work for free. Just say that right now that you can't do you can't pursue this opportunity without budget, and you hope to work together in the future, and best of luck. Be classy, because again, you don't know where that person's going to end up, you don't know who they're going to talk to, and if you're rude to them, or if you feel offended that they asked you to work for free and you lash out, it's just not a good look, and it's not something that's going to get you anywhere. So that's it. We're done. Hopefully next week I'll be back in a suit. I know this looks weird. I don't like it either. Trust me. Actually, I won't be. We're filming the next one in the Hamptons, so I may not be wearing any clothes. So we'll see you next week. We'll be out at the Hamptons, and right? Yeah. So fuck, I'll see you there. Cheers. I'm not finishing this, it's too hot.